All right, all right, all right. I think we're live here. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. Hope you got your taxes done, all that stuff. Uh, really happy today to talk about some transfer portal news. We got a lot of guys that are flooding the portal. Are they any good? It kind of depends on who you're looking at, right? So I'm going to run through a few different names that I think we'll have our eyes on. Maybe I'll get to some of the guys that we've offered. We offered Philip Bleedy. He was a guy that I talked about, I think, on Friday and possibly Thursday. I'm trying to figure out when I did that video on just potential defensive linemen for us to go after out of Indiana. So we'll see. I mean, he has a quick path to playing time out here, maybe a little bit quicker than some of those SEC schools that have offered him. But before I jump into the details, Tremaine Young, what's going on? Thank you for being an official member of the Fellas. Always appreciate your constant support. Hope you're doing well, as well as K Vizzy. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend as well. He's saying people who said this portal is not going to be good, eye emojis. Yeah, we'll just have to see. TK says he's not coming. At the end of the day, probably 95% of the guys that I ever talk about throughout this spring, they're not coming here, but we're still going to talk about them because there's always a chance. Dolores, hope you guys are doing well. Giggity, we got to get that bag out. We got to get the Diamond Man going. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive in. Probably the first piece of news that I want to talk about is with the offensive line. Still haven't seen any news yet outside of what Matt McChesney said last week about Savion entering the portal. Haven't seen him announce it or like Hayes Fawcett or anybody like that report it. But if we are looking for some offensive tackle talent, we of course have. Oh, I'll talk about Jermaine here in a minute. Where the heck is my bookmarks? Maybe it's in my likes. Sorry, y'all. Shout out to Flash for tagging me in this. Yes, Andrew Chambley visiting with Kansas State, Colorado, Virginia Tech, and UCLA. SMU and Indiana have also expressed interest in him. One of the portal's most coveted linemen. This is interesting if this stays the case because, man, this guy was straight ass at Arkansas last year. Just looking at his PFF profile, just straight ass. I'm hoping that, hey, I'm not going to complain if we bring him in because we know we're ultra thin right now at tackle. But some of the numbers are a little concerning. It's nice that he at least has started previously, started 8 games for the Razorbacks here. But I mean, some of the concerns that I've brought up with Khalil Benson out there, just in terms of his not, giving up like close to 40, I think, pressures last year, which is just insane. You look here at what Andrew Chambley did, 7 sacks. That is something that really pops out to me. Now, granted, did not really give up as many pressures or hurries, so that is nice along with 1 penalty, but I need to figure out, man, why was this dude giving up 7 sacks? But in terms of the size, 6'6", 314, that's nice. Maybe he has some versatility to play a little bit of guard as well, but played left tackle, played a little bit of right tackle as well. So maybe he's somebody that we bring in as potentially our swing tackle this year. We'll just have to see, but you see the overall grades. Graded out 55.9 in the run blocking. That's decent. I mean, below average stuff, but not super alarming, I guess. But the 40.9 in the pass blocking just makes you wonder, man, what is going on? Of course, he graded out very well against Kent State and Western Carolina, but when we're talking about the SEC, it was a little rough. It was a little rough. Maybe he has more success moving out of the SEC. Now, was he with another school before this? I don't know if he was. Okay. So he's somebody that we have interest in. We'll see. Again, guys like Khalil Benson, Savion Washington, in this case, Andrew Chambley, none of these guys are players that don't have areas of improvement, right? These guys got holes in their game that they need to fill out. They need to iron out rather, and hopefully Phil Goldholt is able to do that with all the tackles that we got. Because again, you can't teach size. 6'6", that's really nice. Khalil Benson, a bigger guy as well. I mean, his size really pops off the tape when you're looking at it practice. I'm not gonna complain bringing in an SEC tackle. However, I just ask that we have tempered expectations on some of these guys. If this guy is being referred to as one of the most coveted offensive tackles in the portal, again, I haven't watched any tape on this guy, so I know nothing about him, but at least when I'm looking at this stat line and they're saying he's one of the most coveted tackles, I'm thinking, man, we'll have to see if we can bring in a starting level player. But right now, I don't know if I would feel comfortable having him right now start at left or right tackle and just saying, hey, we don't need to worry about it, you know? On a side note, we got Jermaine Lole, who originally I think was at Arizona State, spent this past year at Louisville, entering the portal. Defensive interior, okay, 6'3", 310, so about the same size as Anquin Barnes. That's really nice, and y'all know we need a few interior linemen. I think that this needs to be our primary area of focus, and area 1B is, of course, the offensive line, but we got to be targeting the linemen still. And I thought played pretty well. Again, 2 sacks as a defensive interior guy. That's wonderful. Generated 11 quarterback hurries, had a couple batted balls, 18 total tackles. So somebody I think that at least when you look at his grades, they're pretty decent. 70.8 in the run game, 63.3 in the pass rush, 69.1 overall on defense. I think, hey, that's a pretty good grade, and that's somebody that I think could have the potential to start here coming in. We'll have to see, but yeah, played at Arizona State, an older guy, played a lot of college football. This is crazy. I'm guessing he redshirted this year in 2022 with Louisville. So yeah, it would be great to have another veteran lineman here on CU. I think we're in some need of that. And I mean, the guys played 1,800 snaps in Power 4 football. So that is something that is not normal in, at least in previous years within the portal, having somebody with this much experience on the defensive line come in here. So he would be a welcome addition. I hope we reach out. I assume that with this kind of productivity, there are going to be a lot of teams vying for his services. Another guy to keep your eye on is Isaiah Raikes. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. And I heard he's like only, like 17 or something like that? 6'2", 320. Younger guy. I believe this is the lineman that I was talking about with some of my friends in my group chat. But really productive year at Texas A&M. I think transferred to USC in the portal period and is now leaving. So, hey, maybe we can make an offer for him. Of course, Texas A&M, as of recently, has just absolutely crushed it in recruiting. Not so much in developing or in winning to their expectations and standards, but they have recruited very well. Jimbo Fisher did in high school. And this is a guy coming in here. Again, you can't teach size. 6'2", 320. In the SEC, I graded out very well in the run defense. 77.3. That's really good stuff. A little bit of improvement needed for the pass rush, but I'm not going to go too crazy about that. Your primary responsibility as a defensive interior guy is to make sure that we're not getting gashed, right? 72.3 defensive grade overall. 2 sacks, okay, 17 total tackles, a batted ball, 3 hurries. So, and I think did he play in 2022? I mean, he's got a handful of years of eligibility left, at least 2. So I think that would be great. And look, took a huge jump from 2022 to 2023 with his production. So that is that's exciting stuff. Maybe he can take another jump this year as well. But man, I would love to go get this guy. I assume that a lot of big colleges are going to be going after him as well. Y'all let me know in the comments if there's anybody else that you feel like we should be targeting that has already entered. I saw on Twitter that a bunch of Louisville linemen were going to jump in the portal, but I think they have said that that isn't happening anymore. They've like refuted the report. A couple of those guys have. So I don't know where that report is. Maybe it was from LJ. Yeah, I think it was LJ retweeted it. Yeah, Pete Nakos reported this, and Ruben Unije, as well as Victor Cooter, both of them said they're not entering the transfer portal. I looked up Travion Sylvester, if I can talk correctly. Didn't play much. We'll see if he is still his size of like, I think like 6'3", 280, so a little light. But I haven't had a chance to look at Lance Robinson, so I'll put his name in right now. We'll see if we can get some information on him. 6'4", 295. Didn't play much this past year. Has kind of been working up the ranks, but hey, 6'4", 295, all right. Maybe I imagine he is going to be looking to go start somewhere, and I don't think that's going to be here. So with that being said, I'll get to some of your thoughts. And we'll get to it. Yeah, linebacker, defensive tackle, offensive tackle are our needs, and I still haven't seen much with the linebackers. We'll just have to see. I think right now I'd like us to go after that Burrell player from Texas, but he hasn't played much. Yeah, Rosecrans, you guys must have been laughing while I was saying Andrew Chambley had an ass season last year. Yeah, and like I like it, but then when I see the tweets, that's exciting. I see an Arkansas tackle who started 8 games. Okay, I would love to have him here, obviously, but at the end of the day, I don't know if we got any perfect linemen right now that are jumping in the portal. My guess is that likely right now, unless somebody's being poached, there's some tampering going on. You're gonna see guys with some holes in their game entering that portal. Yeah, ultra ass. It gave up 7 sacks last year. What the hell? What the hell? Now only 22 pressures. So that's something to keep in mind. That is straight up like half the amount that Khalil Benson had, about like 10 to 15 less than Savion Washington had last year. So all that to say, somebody that can provide probably around the same amount of depth than like if we add Savion here, maybe. I don't know. Chase Summers excited about, I believe you pronounce it Yo-Yo. That's how his coach pronounced his name. Yo-Yo Ataya, potential at left guard once Mayers is gone. Yes, I think that he's probably a couple years away just because he hasn't been playing football very long, but he's got that size. And hey, who's to say if he puts in the amount of work, who's to say he can't vie for one of those positions next year? I mean, next year we lose our starting guards unless Khalil Benson is kicked in. I don't think that that's likely right now, especially with how thin we are at offensive tackle, but we'll just have to see. He very well could be in competition and surprising us, sort of like Hank Solinskis is surprising us right now. Seems like he's pretty much running with the first team entirely now. Oh no, when you Google his name, first thing that pops up is that he doesn't love the game. Are we talking about Andrew Chambley? Dang, he lost love for the game. Yikes. Yeah. Here on March 5th. Well, if you don't love the game and you gave up 7 sacks, this is not the place for you because there is way too much of a spotlight on it for anybody who isn't comfortable with this sort of attention. This is a bad place for you because you are gonna be ridiculed like crazy if you're bad. He has lost the love for the game. Redshirt freshman last year, so hey, there's still time to improve. Still only 19 years old. Former four-star recruit, was one of only 3 freshmen who earned all SEC honors for the Razorbacks last season. All SEC after giving up 7 sacks? I am so confused. What the heck? Oh, all SEC freshmen. Okay. That's a little bit different than all SEC. All SEC freshmen. Yeah, whether he will play football at all. Yeah, it's probably ain't the best place for him then. Probably needs some place where you can just lay low, put in the work, have a little bit of fun. Zion says, you're better off with Savion Washington than this guy if you want to be technical. Yes, and Savion's already been working with the team. I'm praying to the football gods. Don't enter the portal. Don't enter the portal. We need continuity. I don't want to see Savion. I'm gonna start praying to my football cards, to the football gods. Just say keep our players, keep our players from entering the portal. That will provide decent depth. Come on, I need to find my Warren Sapp football cards as my football gods shrine. I will pray to for good luck in the transfer portal. But yeah, until David Connor comes back, we are ultra thin at offensive tackle. Cam Duncan says defensive linemen are starting to hit the portal. Yes, and I feel like the D line is looking a lot better right now than the offensive line. Yeah, that's right. Again, there's a reason why the winter portal period is much better than the spring portal period, okay? I think we need to temper our expectations a bit. If you're expecting us to get 5 starters or something like that out of this portal period, that's crazy. Maybe if we're lucky, we get a starter or 2. But I think that the most reasonable place for us to get a starting level player is on the defensive line. And I also think it's still one of our weakest positions. But don't tell anybody I said that. We haven't seen Seaton on film, true freshman, big. I mean, we've seen plenty of him on well off. Looks like he's got the size there. I imagine he's going to have his ups and downs this year as a true freshman, but I'm not an offensive line expert, but I feel like he at least looks like he belongs out there, from what I've seen. But that is very rare. That is very rare. Now, I got a question for you guys. Maybe I'll do a video on this later. Y'all be sure to smash that like. Let's talk about the quarterbacks a little bit. Would y'all rather go after a transfer like if Aaron Noland is going to enter from Ohio State? Would you rather bring him in and say, hey, you're going to be the guy right now to succeed Shador with, of course, competition of the guys that we have right now? I think I would prefer that over going and getting somebody like Julian Lewis committing here. Now, I do think, I'm not going to complain if we get one of them, okay? But where my mind is at is more, let's get the surest thing we can right now. I don't think Julian Lewis is going to make his decision till later in the summer or right before the season starts. And that's for his commitment, not even to sign. If we can get a top high school recruit quarterback to come out here and already transfer here, then he's already having this year to prepare for being the guy next year. And it's kind of like that Quinn Ewers thing, declared early, went to Ohio State for a year, and then came to Texas a year later and was prepared to be that guy. I think I would prefer that type of getting the quarterback right now and just having the certainty of that rather than saying, hey, you know what, we're actually not going to pursue any of these interesting guys that might hit the portal and will hit the portal. And we're just going to take our bets with making sure we sign a guy out of high school this year. I'm interested. Whoa, hopefully I don't break my mic. I'm interested to hear what you guys would prefer. But Giggity's saying, did you see DJ Lagway from Texas in the Florida spring games? Surprise CU didn't even send him an offer. Yeah, I was hoping that DJ Lagway was a guy that we could have gotten into the sweepstakes with, because being a Texas guy around the Dallas area, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. But yeah, I thought that we would have thrown an offer out there. But it seems like when he flipped to, because I think he was committed somewhere else first and then flipped to Florida, it seemed like that thing was locked in. Was he first a Miami guy? I can't remember. Now, Julian, are we talking about Juju? Julian Lewis, I would love to have him here, but yeah, he's not probably making a decision or a commitment until sometime in August at the earliest. If we can go after somebody like Aaron Noland, you do it. Tremaine Young, I'd love to see Colorado improve their play calling this year. I'd love to see them be able to sustain drives and not go for now every down. Yeah. Again, Pat Shurmur, he is not an offensive genius, but he is a capable offensive coordinator. He isn't going to make any of these dumbass mistakes, I feel like, that we saw with the team last year with running the offense. He's going to be capable. He's going to be just fine. Are we going to put up 50 points a game and average that throughout the season? No. But this is going to look like an offense with somebody who's running it that has been there, done that has enough knowledge to have this thing. I think the baseline is still putting up 28, 30 points a game. That's my expectation. And hopefully, again, like Pat Shurmur, he likes to air that ball out, but he's going to have more of a commitment to the run than we saw last year. Will be a substantial amount more running plays. I'm not sure about that, but I think we'll run better, especially now that we don't have like 250-pound guards starting for us this year. So I think Pat Shurmur, he's going to be just fine. I think his little bit of conservative play calling nature will kind of balance out with, we've seen Coach Prime throughout his career has been ultra aggressive. There needs to be what's the expression? Yin and a yang, a balance to it. All right. There needs to be a balance. I think we'll see a little bit better of a balance this year. Brian Wilson coming in here saying Andrew Chambley was an all-freshman SEC last season. His ceiling is very high. Yeah, and if he's only 19, he still has plenty of room to grow. So I just don't think he's one of those guys that we can say, yep, he's going to start immediately coming here. It sounds like he might need to take some time to develop first before he sees the field again. Afford top dogs, Zion. Okay, like we can afford some top dogs. Like we can afford some guys. We can't pay everybody top money. We're not the program to do that. But it's very clear that, hey, we can pick and choose, or we have to pick and choose those guys that we're going to commit money to as a collective. But we've been able to do it with some players. I don't think Travis Hunter was coming here without some help from the collective. I don't think Jordan Seaton was either. I don't think Cormani McLean was. We can pay some top dogs, but we can't pay as many as a lot of the other programs that were vying, some of these player services for. We will get outbid in some of these situations, but if things are the right fit for us, we can get some of them. But I think again, some people act like it's like nuance. I get frustrated sometimes hearing about CU can't afford anybody or CU it's a no-brainer to come here. We got the best NIL opportunity for anyone out there, which is not true. Again, this whole thing of like, who cares about the collective money? I mean, I sure do. Guys, do you want to, okay, if someone were to give you $100,000, are you just taking the $100,000 that's offered to you for just going to a workplace, or saying, hey, you can get $100,000 after you start meeting these criteria, these checkpoints with work? No, we're always taking the easiest money, and that's how it is for these players too. The easiest way to get paid is through the collective. We don't offer, or we don't have as much as a lot of these other big programs, but we got enough to, I think, definitely compete in the Big 12 and put together a Big 12 winning roster here eventually. I totally think that. Going up against some of the SEC and Big 10 schools is a little bit different, but I think that, it's this program is not, broke as hell, nor are we rich and a no-brainer for every top dog. We got to pick and choose like most schools do. Steve G, come on, man, dude. If you're gonna troll in here, which I'm totally cool with, just don't be an asshole. So I gotta put you in timeout. We're not using we're not calling people gay like a motherfucking 12-year-old. Grow up. Not gonna have that in here. That's fucking weird. So you're in timeout. Just, have some taste. Be funny, don't be an ass. Yeah, Steve G, you're a fucking weirdo today, man. You don't need to be doing that. All right. I'll get to some of your guys' comments or questions. You got a few more for me. I'll stay on here. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap it up. Rest in peace, Steve G. Yeah, you continue to be a weirdo, I'll have to block you. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because I like making money off you. I like you in the chat, man. Come on. You just don't be a weirdo, man. JJ Stallworth. Hey, Dave. Love what I'm seeing so far from CU. I still have one unanswered question from last season. Who is the player leader? Are we talking about are we talking about like the guys that will have the L on their chest this year? Well, I don't think it's going to be Shane Coates this year. So we'll have to see. I imagine Shador will have one. Travis will have a dog. Please, for the love of God, don't give any. You got me swearing today. Don't give me any fucking buddy on special teams with a dog tag. That's the stupidest thing that we did last year, and then we're taking it away because I don't care how badass your kicker is. Don't give them a D on the chest. That's some bullshit, okay? Don't be doing that. I imagine we got to have somebody on the defense. Hopefully it's the defensive line that's got that dog. Maybe it's Samuel Okunlowa. Maybe it's Chidozie Nwankwo. I think those guys are going to be playing a ton of snaps for us. I think that it would be nice to have one of those guys with a leader tag, and then Travis is going to have his dog. Maybe somebody on the offensive line has a dog as well. I would like to see that type of nasty mentality developed and have that expectation put on the guys that, hey, you embody this dog mentality, this leadership mentality. We need to be led from the inside out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Zion, man, it's such a bummer, man, because like sometimes I like having the chat in here. Obviously, I love talking with you guys, but sometimes people just get weird with it. Like I always loved oh man, why am I forgetting his name right now? The mod that East Coast Kev. Like I always loved having East Coast Kevin here, but then he started blocking y'all because you guys disagreed with him. And I love East Coast Kev. But, I had to remove it from him because I warned him a couple times and he kept doing it. And now I don't even see him in here anymore. It's like, dude, come on, man. Come on. I like talking with you. But sometimes, man, I just got to say, you know what? I got to do what's right for the channel, even if I'm entertained. Yeah. Shanko's going to be a rotational player here at best this year, so we can't have rotational guys with the dog, with the leaders, no punters and kickers giving that shit. I don't want to see that. We should have known our season last year was totally screwed when we're running out there with a motherfucking punter and kicker there with leaders and dog tags on their jerseys. That was some bullshit. Chase Summers, thoughts on Jordan Onavue? Love that guy. I want to see him get his chance. It looks like the other day when I was looking at the well-off practice footage, it didn't seem like he had his pads on, so maybe he's dealing with something. But I'm really looking forward to seeing him in the spring game. He better not hit that fucking portal. He's a guy that I believe can have potential to get some snaps here and surprise some people. I mean, again, a lot of people are seeing Omari Miller just moss Israel Solomon. I think he mossed him like twice now that we've seen in practice. But Jordan Onavue, I thought, had an even more impressive catch right over DJ McKinney and before Shiloh got over there to clean that thing up. Exactly, RA. Hey, he's got the ability to operate how he wants, has more control. He's got a strategy. He's sticking to it. I don't think a lot of blue blood programs would be okay with this. And that's why this is a really good marriage. We're allowing this whole startup thing. Again, the recruiting is a different strategy. The publicity is different. The cameras, all of that. It's just different. And I think it's fun. I think it's fun. Cam Duncan saying DJ McKinney's going to be a breakout player next year. Also, Preston Hodge might have a breakout year because Prime is always on both of them. Yes. Secondary, I love it. We got some corners that I think that we should be able to trust, and they're going to look better with a better pass rush. I mean, we barely got a pass rush last year, and I think it's safe to say we'll do better at generating chaos to the quarterback this year. Gearhead, are we over the limit on scholarships at the moment? Haven't been paying attention, but seems like we would have 2 or 3 over the limit right now. Let me go ahead and check. So, okay, guys, another random thought as I'm pulling this stuff up. It's like, was this guy Chambley from Arkansas just given all SEC freshmen because he started as a redshirt freshman, even though like his stats were ass? Is that just like how it is? All right. Oh, come on, man. What's up with all these ads? So we're at 81 scholarships. We get 80, right? 80 scholarship players. So it looks like we're one over. Guys that should hit the portal. I'm going to say it right now. I think Ryan Staub should hit the portal. I think Jacob Page should hit the portal. I think Assad Wasim should hit the portal. I mean, I'm just flat out saying it right now. Those guys need to hit the portal. We need Isaiah Jada to hit the portal. We need who else we got? We need Jace Feely to hit the portal. We need Jeremiah Brown to hit the portal. I'm cool with Travis J right now. Vito Tisdale needs to hit the portal. I don't really want any of our defensive line guys to hit the portal. But yeah, that's about it. I hope Savion doesn't, but all indications is that he will. Hope Luis Passarello sticks around, but I got a feeling that he might enter the portal. So did I just name off like 6, 7 guys? So between 5 and 10 is probably what we'll have. And I wonder what's going to happen with David Connor's spot. If that scholarship's going to be upheld while he's on taking a leave of absence, or something like, hey, you come back, we'll pay for you as a walk-on. I'm not sure how all that stuff works with the walk-on stuff, because there's got to be some sort of technicality, because then all these teams would be bringing on all their players on walk-ons and, just stacking their roster, right? So, yeah, I think I named like 6, 7 guys. But I don't want Victory entering the portal. I don't want Kofi Taylor Barracks entering the portal. I wonder if Isaiah Harge might. Adam Hopkins, maybe. Man, we'll just have to see. But yeah, all that to say, Gearhead, we're basically right at the limit, or one over the limit right now. So we'll just have to see. We'll see you at Air Force back to their schedule. Man, I hope not. I'm sick of dealing with that bullshit and that triple option offense, man. They're always a pain in the ass for us. They always play us really hard, or they beat our ass. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Yeah, that's right. I'm dodging Air Force. You're absolutely right. I don't want to mess with Air Force. I definitely want to dodge them. They're too different. They're just too different. Feel he's got to hit that portal, though. I don't think he will, though. Yes, FPSD coming in here with the super chat. Hold on, guys. I got to auto star the supers. Why is this not coming in here? I'm so annoyed. Okay. Thank you so much for the $5 super. Don't forget to support 5330. Even $20 would help those dogs. Also, there's NIL scholarships. Correct. Please go and support the 5430 Alliance. They rebranded from the 5430 Foundation. And guys, hey, spring game tickets. I just bought mine today as well. That's another wonderful way to help out the program, as well as buying some tickets. Giving a donation to the 5430 Alliance. Just, hey, some of you guys might be getting a return. I never withhold, so I never have a return. But yeah, like, this is tax season. Throw some money that way. Help out the program. But yes, every little bit helps. Oh, we get 85 scholarships. Jason Watkins, thank you. I should know this bullshit by now. So thank you. Who the fuck is Jacob Page? He's actually got some good size. I think he's about 6'3", 190 pounds or so, maybe 180. Murfreesboro, Tennessee. JB, a main side character, Dave. Can't do that. Sorry, man. You got to hit the portal. David, I think the Buff Stampede's eligibility chart on 24/7 may be more up to date than Buff Zone. Okay, let me Google it right now. I should know this. 85 scholarship charts. Or 85 scholarship spots, not charts. I'm all over the place today. Thank you. I'm going to bookmark this now. Oh, this reads way better than Buff Zone. Wow. Okay. I'm learning something new every day. But they don't have a total here. Come on now. You going to give me a total? We get 85. So that means we can bring in some more guys, which would be wonderful. I'm gonna add this up right now. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna put the time in. Actually, I don't think this one is up to date because they still got Reggie Young on here. Reggie Young is not on the team. Is he? I thought he was out of eligibility after last year. Oh yeah. Yeah, they need to change this up. Landon Beebe's on here. I'm getting triggered. I'm getting triggered thinking about all these sacks. Yeah, they need to update it. Adam Hopkins can stay. You tripping? I agree he should stay. I just wonder if he might go somewhere else for playing time. And that's okay. I'd like to see what he can do. Thank you for this 85 scholarships. I should totally know the rules. Not sure why you'd want your QB2 to hit the portal, because I'd just rather see what the 6'7", 250-pound guy can do. That's just me. And I'm hoping that we can bring in another transfer portal quarterback like Aaron Nolan. I think Ryan Staub should hit the portal too, because I would like to see him start somewhere eventually. I think he's more of a guy who could start quicker at the G5 level. Again, he continues to prove me wrong as we go on, but I just don't know if he's a long-term starting option or a bridge option for this team in the future. And I just want to see him play. I know Neely said that he's the number 2 guy right now, but I don't know, man. Call me crazy. I just like my quarterbacks. I just prefer them to be 250, 6'7". But again, that has nothing to do with the mental stuff. And it seems like Ryan Staub is also a very bright guy, but Walter Taylor went to freaking Vanderbilt. If he can't grasp this offense, nobody can. He's gonna be able to mentally handle this offense and process totally fine. When you go to Vanderbilt, you got a nice, your baseline for intelligence is probably higher than 99% of the people in the world. Yeah, you got to prepare different for it, and you can't really have a scout team run it effectively. It was always a pain in the ass for us, especially when Mel Tucker was here. I remember us losing to Air Force, or did we barely beat Air Force? I can't remember, but yeah, that shit was it's just a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it anymore. Okay, Jason, and y'all go subscribe to Hall of Fame Football. Brother, there's a kid they need to look at. 6'4", 220 edge from Artesia, New Mexico. What's his name? Oh, it's a different chart, which is under quick links to the upper right of their homepage. Thank you. I feel like such a boomer right now. I'm trying to find this stuff. I'm going to have to look around this later. I'm getting distracted, y'all. Yes. Sorry. If you don't have somewhat of a standard offense, I don't want to play you. I'm not here for gimmicks. I'm here for substance. Byron, you're bringing up a great point that I wanted to talk about, that I was thinking about this weekend, talking with some guys on my group chat about this. Byron Wilson. Nah, fuck that, David. We brought in 6'3", 250-pound offensive tackle from G5, Phil Houston, and people are saying the Arkansas starter won't come. What the fuck are we doing? Okay, great question. This is what I wonder. Was Philip Houston brought in here from FIU, undersized? And I think from what I've seen on Well Off, he looks the part like athletically, but it's just small. I wonder if the plan was to bring him in and have him redshirt like this entire year, so that maybe he could eventually, with another year in the weight room, then become, either a swing tackle or a starting tackle for us. I wonder if that was the plan, because we can't be putting out now. I think he said that he's closer to like 270 or 275 now. That is still the same point. Too small. I don't want it. I don't want it. Put him on the Barry Bonds cycle for a year, and we're going to be all right. Why don't we want that Arkansas guy? I want him. I want him. Okay. I want him. But I just want to temper people's expectations. Just because he was playing in the SEC does not automatically mean he's an amazing player. Guy gave up 7 sacks last year. So he's going to come in here with some potential, young, still 19, but also said that he lost love for the game earlier this year. So maybe a change of scenery would solve that. But I'm just praying to the football gods, praying to my football cards that we get some guys here that can play, that can fill a depth role. I think that some people will hear SEC, all SEC freshman. He's an automatic starter here. Then, just looking at the statistics, that's not a case. Yes, you fill out roster with players who aren't big NIL hits. You're absolutely right. Go Buffs or go Bucks. Yeah, but at least he's tested, right? So again, especially if Savion hits that portal tomorrow, like that whole thing becomes official. Yes, you go after this guy, bring him in, but let's not sugarcoat anything. He gave up 7 sacks last year. His pass blocking grade was not looking that great. FIU wasn't feeding him right. That's what I'm saying. Give Philip Houston a year to redshirt and put him on that Barry Bonds plan. I would prefer if we don't play NDSU in the future. They are a known giant sleeper. We win nothing, even if we beat them. We're supposed to. Yeah, I can understand that. And if we have trouble with NDSU this year, it's going to be a long season. But yeah, it would be nice if we had preseason in college football. We're never going to get that, though. So it would be nice to just warm up with like a Central Arkansas, right? I mean, the SEC is doing it 4 games a year. So as much as I love the fact that CU has normally scheduled their out of conference schedule pretty tough, in today's world, and guys, I mean, when I'm just talking about bowl eligibility, I just want to get bowl qualified. Like, I wouldn't mind playing a school like Central Arkansas or like freaking Hawaii, right? And honestly, David, I'm done with the Rocky Mountain Showdown for a while after this year. That was probably the dirtiest I've seen a team play in quite a while, with all those late hits and personal fouls last year. Like, that was such bullshit. Like, you don't gain anything from that game right now, and knocked out our best player last year. So one of our best players, him and Shador. So yeah, there's just not, if you're going to play one of these G5 schools or whatever, just make sure they're not dirty as hell. JJ, Dave, who are the top 5 guys we're going to lose on Monday? Well, I hope it's nobody better than Savion Washington. I don't want to lose Savion Washington, but I mean, Matt McChesney said that was pretty much happening with a lot of certainty. I could see Kareem Harden entering the portal, but I don't want to see that happen either. I think that he could be one of our main guys off the bench for an interior line position. we need depth, and we're going to have injuries on the offensive line. We don't want to have to throw in a guy that's undersized or underdeveloped, not ready for that yet. I like Kareem Harden. I would love to see him stay here. And who's to say he can't, if he gets his opportunity, he can't hold on to it, right? He's got the size. Now it's just about putting it all together. But I guess like Travis J, those are some other guys that have been brought up as possibly entering the portal. One guy I do wonder might enter the portal that just got here is Yakiri Walker. Kind of seems like he's primarily just running with the second team now. And I wonder if he might look for another spot to go play. Let me pull up the roster again. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of those true freshmen or now redshirt freshmen wide receivers we brought in last year, like Jacob Page, Asad Wasim, just they transfer elsewhere, because I just don't ever see a path to playing time for them realistically, especially when you got guys like Draylon Miller, Cam McKell coming in, and you have the transfer portal is always deep with skill position players. Yeah, maybe JJ Hawkins or Kyrie Mans, maybe they hit the portal. But again, I would just rather keep as many bodies as we can right now on the defensive interior, even if they're not that good. I'm just hoping, we don't have any big-time shockers, which I don't think we will, like somebody like Jaden Milner-Jones entering the portal, or I think Carr Stoudemire is going to stay. I hope Adam Hopkins stays as well. But I think we could see another quarterback again, like Ryan Staub, enter the portal if there's a real opportunity for him to play quicker. And he should take that. Yeah. Y'all let me know if there are any other names that we need to look out for. Is Terrell Timmons hitting the portal? I don't think he's on campus right now, is he? So I assume he's coming here. Eric Moore, someone from Louisville is going to enter the portal. Well, that defensive lineman has, and then it seems like that report about those 4 offensive linemen has been told to be false, because you've had the actual players tweeting out that they're not hitting the portal. Travis J is Coach Prime's blood family. I doubt he leaves. Good. I'd like to keep him then. Is Tyler Johnson hurt? I believe so. I think that's why we're seeing Tyler Brown there. And he's another guy, I guess, that could transfer, but I want to see him stay here. I don't think Terrell... Is he on campus? Let me look at the spring football roster. Sometimes I wish that we just had the normal names on the back of the jerseys, because I can't read the handles. Maybe you guys can, but I always have problems reading their names or their handles on the back of their jerseys. All right, this thing's loading here. Timmons is number 82. He's been in the well-off videos. Okay, I'll need to go back and look, or at least moving forward, have an eye on him. Let's see what else I got here. Central Arkansas damn near beat Okie Light last season, and Scottie Pippen wasn't on the team. Oh my God. Well, what's a better version of Central Arkansas that like actually sucks? Maybe we can play my Abilene Christian Wildcats. Let's do that. Yeah, thank you for pointing this out, Katana. Running with the third team. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. I think that he'll probably play special teams for us as well. Man, I hope Cooper doesn't enter the portal, but maybe if low key he doesn't like the safety role that they brought him to, kind of playing more nickel, then maybe he'll leave. But what what Kevin Mathis said was that he graciously was cool with changing roles. I really have no thoughts about Livingston other than the fact that I like that it seems like he's not forcing the personnel into his system. That is something that we saw a little bit last year with Charles Kelly. But I'm probably not going to have a real opinion on him until we see some games go by. Yeah, I think he's a total wild card until then. But, he definitely looks like he works for one of these tech startups out here. Byron Wilson, David, I think we need to find a center in the portal. I like Hank, but I agree with you. I would love to upgrade center if we can, get an experienced guy in here from the not the G5, from the P5 level, the Power 4 level. But I think right now it's just looking like slim pickings. And I do think, as we saw last year and this year as well, it is hard to get damn good offensive linemen in the portal, especially at those tackle positions. But let's see what we got on the interior line right now. And I don't even know if these guys can play center because it's just interior line. So but you see like guys from like smaller schools, Appalachian State, UNLV. Hey, FAMU, again, I'm always going to look for a FAMU guy just because Devin Rispris probably's got every player's phone number from that program there. Let me go ahead and hopefully he played center. No. What's this guy's name again? Cardell Thomas. Dang, dude. Okay. Ranked 520 out of 6. Yeah. Probably just a depth piece. Mm. All right. Seems to be a pretty good pass blocker. But again, FCS. I don't know. Yeah, but right now it's just slim pickings with this interior line. Again, you see Texas State, Grambling, Maryland. I guess we'll have to see. But I mean, right now it's a lot of smaller school guys jumping in, and I don't really know anything about these guys. Branson Hickman. I mean, let's see what this guy was all about. And I guess there is that tackle from SMU. Okay, this guy's a center, so maybe we bring in Branson Hickman, 6'3", 294. Again, AAC, so you got to kind of take these grades with a little bit of salt. But hey, I mean that's really nice. These are really great grades. I mean, if you're a really good player playing the G5, I mean, this is how you should be grading out if you're looking to make that jump to the P4. So maybe we take an eye. Maybe I'll do a video on Branson Hickman, along with there was a tackle from SMU that entered the portal as well that I'm thinking I would prefer us to go get. Marcus Bryant. Hopefully this is the guy that I was thinking of. Watch his stats be just terrible. 6'8", 318. 74 pass blocking. You know, a guy, again, this, just looking at this, my first initial reaction, this is a guy that would probably come in as a depth piece first, and maybe he's looking for, maybe he is looking for an opportunity to start at the P4 level just to see. Taking 2,300 snaps throughout his career, that's great. But yeah, my guess is he would come in here for competition, but I don't know. I just don't know. But hell, bring in both of them. Hey, hi, appreciate it, DC Carson Music. Says, love your dedication. Great job. Thank you. I have a lot of fun with this. And I easily lose track of time, and I'm getting so hungry. Jason saying, everybody needs linemen. That's why you have to recruit and develop these guys, just not many of them out there. Yes, that's why, guys, if we're ever going to have an elite line, it needs to be developed through the high school ranks. I think it's much easier to go after and get quality skill position talent in the portal than it is going and getting quality, high-end, elite potential offensive linemen. These guys got to be developed from within. That's why I love the fact that we're bringing in a guy like Ataya, in addition to having Jordan Seaton here already. Bring in some of those guys that have been overlooked, that have the measurables. Now they just got to be coached up for a few years, okay? Yeah, David, that player from Arizona, yeah, he's 100% crystal ball to Texas. So that's a bummer. But hey, let's go get some of those Texas guys and enter the portal. Yeah, decent grades, especially for the G5. Good ad for depth. And yeah, we got to have a lot of O linemen here. High likelihood of injury. And we saw that last year. Once Savion got hurt, it was better having him in there on one ankle than Isaiah Jota out there. I thought Kareem Harden did all right at right tackle, but he probably projects to be a better guard than he does tackle. We'll have to see. But Landon Beebe, Jack Wilty, Jack Bailey, just all that was just not ideal. And I think we have a little bit better depth at the interior, especially with Tyler Brown now being eligible. But I think we should. Hopefully the plan is to redshirt Phil Houston. Get him on that Barry Bonds plan, baby. Chase Summers. Buff should write a big check for Elijah Griffin. Yes, I believe he was that. He's a lineman that we're having come in for the spring game, right? And he's the number one, or maybe he already visited. I did a video on him. He's either visited or will be visiting very soon. Number one defensive lineman in the country. And it seems like right now, Coach Prime gets 1 5-star a year. Imagine we get at least 1 5-star this year. We win 7-8 games. Oh my God, we might get 2 5-stars. But we'll be writing a check. We write a check for one of these 5 stars every year. Who's to say it can't be Elijah Griffin this year? Hopefully he enjoys his visit here. And all the blue bloods are vying for his services. And it's probably going to be hard to get him out of the state of Georgia, but we've had pretty good success in Georgia, I think, so far. Wouldn't y'all say so? What's for dinner? We're doing a steak. Luckily, I'm not cooking, but I should probably help out with the sides soon. Do you think any of our running backs will enter the portal? Maybe Savion Wilkerson, but I hope not. I'd actually like to add a running back, to be honest. As much as I love Charlie Offerdahl, I think Charlie Offerdahl's role in this team is Rudy. Just throw him in the game when it's over. Hopefully we can get him some snaps this year, but I would like to be like 5 deep at that running back position, scholarship deep. You know what I'm saying? Having a real game changer, having a guy if we could bring in a guy that was like Alt McCaskill minus the knee injury, so has had great success from this past year, that would be really nice. I don't want to be in a situation to where we're forcing some of our younger guys, as much as I love Michael Welsh, forcing our young guys to take on too much too soon. And I just don't think Savion Wilkerson is really that explosive of a back. I thought that, I still think he could start at the Division I level, but it's probably more of like a G5 level. If we get Bleedy on the D line, that would be fantastic. He's got a bunch of offers from SEC schools, but hey, maybe we can offer him more snaps because we got an improving Amari McNeil. That's great. Looks like Anquin Barnes and Quincy Wiggins are improving. They're ready for that next step. That's wonderful, but we don't have anybody with the type of experience Philip Bleedy has in production outside of Chidozie Nwankwo, and he's a little bit undersized. Bleedy's like 310. Yeah, Wilkerson's not a P4 running back. Yeah, probably would get more touches in the G5. I think you're right. Hey, Neckbone, I appreciate the love. Thank you for the $5. Hope you're having a great weekend. All that. Thank you so much. Let me know if there's a question I can answer for you. No, BP, you're missing what I'm saying, man. I'm double talking. First, you say we need to build the team on freshmen. Then you say you don't throw them to the wolves. BP, this is not complicated, dude. Holy shit. It's about having these guys come in here, get in the weight program, have them develop, have them learn how to watch film, how to learn how to study the game, how to practice like a pro, work on their technique, give them a year or two before we throw them out there on the playing field. Holy shit. Do I really need to explain this? Wow. Come on. Come on, BP. Come on, BP. Man, I love this. We can fight about Rudy. For the last time, Rudy was an okay player, put in a bad spot. I'll agree with you there. I'll agree with you there, Mr. DW. Yeah, but if they don't use the portal aggressively, then Prime loses for the next 3 years. He will be fired. One, he will not be fired from here. If Coach Prime leaves here, it's going to be on his own terms. But yeah, I mean, I guess if we continue to have 4-win seasons, but in terms of winning now, again, I've been on record saying this throughout many of my shows. So the biggest recruiting tool this year is to win. When you have guys like Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders on the team, you need to put the best possible team around them to win this year. And you do that through the transfer portal rather than throwing 25 guys out here. I'm not saying we should have brought in or 25 freshmen out there. I'm not saying we should have brought in 25 to 30 freshmen this year in this recruiting class. No, 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 no. But I think, there's a healthy medium where I'm so happy that we've reached 10 freshmen coming in here because that's important for development. But I was hoping between like 15 to 18 freshmen being brought in this year. And you could still bring in that amount with still having enough transfer portal guys coming in and veteran football players to play 90% of your snaps, 95% of your snaps. I'm hoping that this next year we'll see 15 to 20 freshmen brought in because, I mean, we're going to lose over 30 players this year. But I'm not saying we negate the transfer portal, but I'm just saying maybe over time we see this thing be a little bit more 50-50 than, 80-20 right now over time. Yeah, and we saw what happens to building the line through the portal, and it's not happening. And again, we have a guy coming in here that's our starting center right now that is overtaking a transfer right now, and Hank Zelinskis, a guy that we have developed, that he's taken the year to uh, continue to improve his strength, to get in the weight room, to practice like a pro, to learn all that. Okay, you develop linemen. Which would you rather train on technique? A freshman dealing with a new environment or a portal player who needs some cues here and there? Depends on if the portal player is Mr. Can't Get Right, Mr. Attitude, Mr. I'm going to come in here. I need snaps right now. Versus, again, that is not a black and white situation. Yes, BP. Yes, and it is very unlikely to have freshmen starting, but the majority of offensive linemen who start in power college football are not starting as freshmen. They are developed, they've been brought in. But yeah, developing will always be better than the portal. And I think we saw that last year with taking that to the extreme. Um, I thought that we would have played a little bit more unified, but I mean, we saw that there were just things wrong when you got a full team of transfers, 70 plus guys. We won't be dealing with that type of unity issue this year, I don't think, because again, that we got a lot of returnees. We're more so just filling some positions of need rather than every position being a position of need. Will look better, but yeah, like it's a both and type of thing. I think that there are positions that I like I have no doubt we'll always be able to get serviceable, good skill position players in the portal. It's just harder on the line. And this is a great point. CSM HB J Dog. Wonderful name, by the way. He's saying Prime said he will target younger portal players this upcoming year, and I think that's wonderful. Maybe guys who have already taken a year to redshirt, okay? And I like that too. Some of the guys that we brought in the winter, they still have 2-3 years of eligibility as well. They should have kept the O lineman from the 1-win team. That's a fact. Well, maybe. I would have preferred Van Wells to stay here and compete for that starting center position because, again, the guy with the most Power 4 experience right now is Hank Zelinskis on our team at the center position. I know that one of our starting linemen from that 1-11 year went on to have a pretty good year at Florida State, but you basically had to start over, though. Last year was a great example of why you just don't get 5 new starting linemen every year. And combined with subpar coaching, it was just bad. I mean, we've looked at the film, we've looked at these guys not knowing their assignments, not communicating, and I'm hoping that Phil Oho can get that right. I think he will. See, it's a happy medium, man. It's targeting young portal players. But to say right now in this period, we're going to go get some dogs, maybe we can get 1 or 2, but we're not taking our team from like an 8-win team to a 12-win team during this period. We're going to get some guys that hopefully are going to serve good rotational backup roles for us. And if we're lucky, hopefully we can get a couple starters. Yes, just for depth. Just for depth. You're absolutely right. You guys need to leave it to Prime and those NFL guys to decide what is best to win now. They know free agency. The portal is that. Prime gets it. But it's not like every coach just doesn't make mistakes, doesn't learn on the job, doesn't change their strategy as time goes on. And it doesn't mean that we should all just blindly follow just because they've been there, done that. There are some things here that, again, Coach Prime just does differently from other coaches, and I'm totally cool with that. What I get pissed is that people come in here and try and make excuses or defend him about how like he's just outsmarting everybody, like the lack of home visits. I'm not freaking out about that. I'm totally fine. I would rather him just come out and say, guys, I want to spend my time in these different ways. And right now it doesn't have to do with home visits. That's totally fine. He just needs to come out there instead of saying bullshit about like, oh, I'm a businessman. I'm trying to save our um, school money with the private jet, but then you're taking the private jet to watch the XFL and traveling along. That like I have no issues with how he wants to spend his time. It's totally different. He's just taking a different strategy and is committing to it. I have no issue with that. What I have issue with is when he can come out or other people in the chat come out and say head coaches don't do in-home visits. That's total bullshit. Just say how it is, man. And I'm totally fine with this. Again, I'm approaching this. I'm trying to approach this with a startup mentality. Things are going to be done differently. We're going to have some different priorities compared to how college football has historically done things, and we're going to see how this whole thing plays out. I think he can be really successful in doing this, but that doesn't mean that the methods aren't beyond criticism or they don't have holes in them. Just like people get on Sarks, Brett Venables, people get on Kalen DeBoer, all of these other coaches for how they do things as well. No one's above and beyond looking at things a little bit differently. Yeah. And again, BP, if we take that thing of, Prime's an NFL Hall of Famer, he's a GOAT, he understands it. I came in here saying, like, I would imagine that he got these coordinator hires right. It was very clear that he got the Sean Lewis and Bill O'Boyle hirings completely wrong. He failed on that end, and he comes in with a gold jacket. Okay? It was clear he learned from that mistake, though. He took a very hands-on process in hiring Phil Oldholt, and to me, it seemed like he had the guy in waiting soon after, realizing that this thing might not be as smooth as he wanted, bringing Pat Shurmur in late in the summer as an analyst and having basically this whole fall season as like an on-field interview for him. I think that was done really well. But I think, again, we all make mistakes. Bill Belichick has made some terrible hires at the coordinator position. He's had some really bad things happen too and made some bad decisions. No one's above criticism, but I think the thing that I'm happy about is that he's learned from it. And I think you will see him take some in-home visits because now he can flip the narrative and say, man, to this 5-star player, to this quarterback, later this year or in a year or two, to say, I haven't traveled to see anybody but you. It's like a silver bullet. So he's able to switch this around in his favor. And I think he will do that at some point because he's always thinking 2-3 steps ahead. But yeah, I think you're going to see an improved Coach Prime this year. I think he has a great strategy, and I think you'll see him continue to mold this strategy the more experience that he gets. Everybody's under the criticism of David. That's right. Dude, what's my expertise on football? I have watched more football in my entire life than, really anything, man. Really anything. So, and just like you meet somebody at the barbershop, you're just talking ball. That's what I like to do, except I just like to be on here. So I'm your amateur keyboard coach, but I watch a hell of a lot of football my whole life. It's probably the sport that I've watched the most and I enjoy the most. So that's why I don't have a F1 channel or a tennis channel, golf channel. Actually, I don't like golf or God forbid baseball. This is the sport I watch the most, I know the most about, and I've read the most about. So, but yeah, if you're looking to listen to somebody who played in the NFL for at least 2-3 years, I am your guy. I played. No, I'm just playing. I am not your guy for that. But when you watch something for 30 years, you kind of have an idea of how things are done, what is typical, what isn't, and what the trends are. And yeah, I think Coach Prime's a really good football coach. But sometimes I just hate the defending about sometimes like we can just take what he's doing and just say, well, this is just reality. He's just outsmarting, yada yada, which I think is true in some respects. But I've had people come in here and say literally no head coaches go on in-home visits. And that's where we're just taking it a little too far. Let's just be okay that he's choosing to do things differently and like have fun with it. Really fly coming in here. Y'all go subscribe to her as well. Just be honest here. Exactly, Dave. That is all. Don't play us for a fool with you making up things that don't make sense. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Nah, you don't need to shut up. I come on here to talk with you. So, man, I do got to get Mad Dog on. I got to get Buffed in Prime on. I think he at least played in a training camp in the NFL, so that's kind of cool. I disagree with some of his takes, but ultimately, I think what he is doing is really good for the Colorado community because it can dispel some of these bullshit narratives that Shiloh, again, you're either elite or you're just trash. You're just dog shit. And Shiloh's a good college safety. He's a good college safety. I think he'll probably be drafted somewhere on day 3. And if not, he'll be a high priority UDFA. And so I like that he's put out some tape kind of defending some of the players that I felt like just had really stupid ass narratives against them. But yeah, I will disagree with this thing on like BJ Green because on some of these well-off videos, I've seen some offensive linemen not hustling back to the play, and I have seen some instances of some offensive linemen that we brought in not hustling to pick up their quarterback after a sack. I'm not going to say names, but I'm just going to say not everybody's film is perfect, But to me, I don't really give a shit about that. I think BJ Green is an upgrade to this room substantially, and I think he's going to fit in and have a great role here. But yeah, I will disagree with him in the fact that I think we have 2, maybe 3 first round, or maybe 4 first round talents on this team. We have Travis and Shador as our first round talents, and maybe later on we'll see Jordan Seaton and Omarion Miller become first round guys, right? If Omarion Miller really does start this year, he's going to be on track to have a great season this year and his sophomore year, and then his junior year go to the NFL. So we'll have to see. But usually those guys that are able to declare early, younger, 21 years old, they usually get drafted higher in the NFL. So I think like right now we got maybe 4 guys that could eventually be first rounders on here, and we'll have to see. Maybe Cormani too. But it's still kind of been up and down with Cormani. So it seems like he has turned the corner in some ways, but it's still kind of been, a little up and down. And he still has time to get it together, though. But if this team was filled with first rounders, we'd see us being like Georgia or something like that, right? No, again, this take is stupid, dude. This take is trash, man. Shiloh's not trash. He's a very good college safety. Now, I think it's fair to say that hey, he might get drafted or get drafted higher because of his name, sure. But I think that he will be a player that is like deserving to be in the NFL. Um, whether that is a day 3 drafted guy or a high priority UDFA. I think that's totally fine. And usually if you're there, that means you were a pretty good football player in college. That take is trash. Oh yeah, I mean maybe McKinney could be too. Again, guys, we got to remember that only 32 guys are drafted in the first round. Like you really do have to be the elite at those positions, and so that's why it's like being a day 3 guy is not a bad thing. Like you're still within the top 250, 270ish. I forget because with compensatory picks, it's a little bit different. Um, you're still within like the top 250 players in college football that year. That's really fucking good. And it just shows you how hard it is to really be good in the NFL. But yeah, I think one thing that will hurt Shiloh's draft stock is his age. Seems like right now the only position that coaches don't really care about in terms of age now is quarterback. But hey, I mean, we drafted Garrett Bowles when he was like 24. David is saying he doesn't like. No, I'm paraphrasing. I'm putting words in your mouth. I agree with him on BJ Green. His film isn't that impressive. The Pitt transfer is going to be good, though. They're both going to be good for us, especially when you saw our edge play last year. They're both going to be good. But yeah, Samuel Okunlola, man, he definitely looks the part, at least on the well off videos. DMVU, great question here. Would you rather see Cam Michael initially learning defense or offense for the Buffs? Me, defense, just because I feel like that's a bigger position of need after this year. We're losing a ton of safeties and DBs after this season. So I would love to see that. But he is quite the weapon on offense, and it might be easier for him to get comfortable with offensive stuff first and then transition over to defense. But man, I would love to see him play safety. All right, guys. You guys are wonderful. Thank you again for the lively chat. Y'all remember, man. Y'all just remember. This is not a black and white world, man. It's not elite and trash. Most of this is in between, and just take 5 seconds to think about these things. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Go Buffs.